In the unfolding account of Matthew's Gospel, Herod emerges as the authoritative authority governing over Judea during a critical era surrounding Jesus' birth. Notably, he issues the horrifying order known as the massacre of the innocents, a sad occurrence that is still clouded in historical suspicion among many Herod experts today. Despite the grandeur of his achievements, sculpting a nascent aristocracy from the most rudimentary of foundations, this charismatic but awful tyrant finds himself the focus of harsh criticism from all corners of historical discourse. As a complex legacy evolves, historians' interpretations diverge. For some, Herod's reign represents achievements and successes; for others, it is a harsh reminder of the tyrannical authority that defined his reign. In the unfolding account of Matthew's Gospel, Herod emerges as the authoritative authority governing over Judea during a critical era surrounding the birth of Jesus. Notably, he issues the horrifying decree known as the massacre of the innocents, a tragic tragedy cloaked in historical skepticism among many Herod scholars to this day. Despite the grandeur of his achievements, sculpting a nascent aristocracy from the most basic of foundations, this charming but awful ruler finds himself the focus of harsh criticism from all corners of historical discourse. A complex legacy is unfolding, provoking divergent viewpoints among historians. For some, Herod's reign is a tribute to accomplishments and successes, while for others, it is a glaring reminder of the tyrannical authority that marked his reign. Let us now begin his story from the beginning. A major figure entered the world in the year 72 BCE, amidst the ancient landscapes of Idumea, located to the south of Judea, Herod. His ancestors could be traced back to Antipater the Idumean, a notable man who served under Ethnarch Hyrcanus II. Cypros, a princess from Petra, Jordan's historic city, graced his family tree as his mother, bringing with her the rich heritage of Nabatean Arab ancestors. Herod's paternal heritage was complicated, with an Edomite father and a Jewish mother, and a family that had accepted Judaism through ancestral conversions. Despite his complicated ancestry, Herod was raised in Jewish traditions, which shaped his Jewish identity. Strabo, a contemporary observer, stated that the Idumeans, who he identified with Nabatean roots, made up a sizable section of the population in western Judea. Strabo claims that they intermarried with the Judeans, integrating their practices into a cultural mosaic. Modern scholarly debates mirror this sentiment, with some stating the Idumeans' Arab or Nabatean ancestry, defining Herod's ethnic background as unmistakably Arab on both sides of his family. The historian Josephus connects Herod's genealogy to the legendary Eleazar Maccabeus, Oren, of the Hasmoneans, establishing a link to a notable and venerated history. Herod's rise to power was intimately intertwined into the political fabric of his time, aided chiefly by his father, Antipater, and the great Roman general and dictator, Julius Caesar. Antipater took responsibility for Judea's public affairs under Caesar's trust, laying the groundwork for Herod's political journey. Herod was appointed provincial governor of Galilee in the year 47 BCE, at the tender age of either 25 or 28, as specified in the Greek original as 15 years of age. In this capacity, he zealously controlled the region's taxes on behalf of the Roman Senate, successfully reducing the threat of bandits in the area. Simultaneously, Herod's elder brother, Phasael, assumed the job of governor in Jerusalem, helping to consolidate their family's power. Herod formed a valuable partnership with Sextus Caesar, the acting Roman governor of Syria, during his time in Galilee. As a result of this alliance, Herod was appointed as the commander of Coele Syria and Samaria, significantly expanding his range of control. His position was strengthened by Rome's support, but it was not without difficulty. Despite his triumphs, the Jewish legal authority, the Sanhedrin, chastised Herod for his perceived cruelty. Even in his early years, before coming to political power, Herod was determined to punish Hasmonean king Hyrcanus. Hyrcanus had already summoned Herod to stand trial for murder, but Herod's plans were thwarted by his father and elder brother's intervention. This episode foreshadowed Herod's reign's complicated combination of political ambition, familial tensions, and Roman influence. When the Roman leader Mark Antony installed Herod and his brother Phasael as tetrarchs in 41 BCE, the tides of political destiny swung in Herod's favor. Their mission was to provide assistance to Hyrcanus II, who ruled over Judea. However, the political scene transformed quickly when Antigonus, Hyrcanus' nephew, took control with the help of the Parthians in 40 BCE. In the face of these difficulties, Herod sought sanctuary in Rome, hoping to persuade the Romans to reinstate Hyrcanus II. The Romans, who had strategic interests in Judea since their general Pompey the Great's conquest of Jerusalem in 63 BCE, were paying close attention to the unfolding events. The Roman Senate unexpectedly declared Herod king of the Jews, a watershed moment in his political career. While Josephus placed this appointment during Calvinus and Pollio's consulship in 40 BCE, Appian places it a year later in 39 BCE. Herod returned to Judea, emboldened by his newfound power, to challenge Antigonus for the crown. As the fight against Antigonus progressed, Herod made a deliberate move to strengthen his position. He married Mariamne, Hyrcanus II's granddaughter and Antigonus' niece. This union sought to enhance Herod's claim to the throne while also gaining popularity among the Jewish people. This decision, however, came with personal costs, as Herod chose to exile his existing wife, Doris, and their son, Antipater, in order to reap the political benefits of his marriage to Mariamne. This intricate web of friendships, betrayals, and strategic maneuverings was a watershed moment in Herod's pursuit for political power. Under Mark Antony's orders, Herod led a formidable force to capture control of Jerusalem in 37 BCE, assisted by Sosius, the governor of Syria. The military campaign was a success, and the city was captured. Following the victory, Herod oversaw Antigonus' execution, cementing his hold on Judea. This was the watershed moment when Herod became the sole ruler of Judea and took the title Basileus, king, for himself. The Hasmonean dynasty, which had ruled over Judea, came to an end as a result of their activities, paving the way for the rise of the Herodian dynasty. This power transition was a watershed moment in the region's political landscape. These events occurred during the consulships of Agrippa and Gallus in 37 BCE, although Josephus also mentions that it was exactly 27 years after Pompey's capture of Jerusalem, implying an alternative date of 36 BCE. According to Cassius Dio, a Roman historian, the Romans accomplished nothing notable in the region in 37 BCE. According to Josephus, Herod's reign lasted 37 years, 34 of which occurred after the capture of Jerusalem, demonstrating the long-lasting impact of this military and political victory on the trajectory of Herod's rule. The religious dedication of Herod, whose family was thought to be converts to Judaism by some, was questioned among some circles of Jewish society. This mistrust originated from historical events, most notably the conquest of Idumea, the Hebrew Bible's Edom, by John Hyrcanus between 140 and 130 BCE. Following the victory, Hyrcanus ordered that all Idumeans follow Jewish law or leave the region. As a result, many Idumeans chose to convert to Judaism, incorporating procedures such as circumcision, and made relationships with the Jewish community through intermarriage, adopting their customs. While Herod openly professed to be a Jew and was recognized as such by some, his Jewish identity was challenged due to the Herodians' lavish lifestyle. This decadence sparked outrage among observant Jews, casting doubt on Herod's religious commitment despite his public declarations. Herod later took harsh measures inside his own family, leading to the killing of several members, including his wife Mariamne, in a terrible turn of events. These internal disagreements enriched the story of Herod's rule by expressing both political and personal anguish. The massacre of the innocents is described in Matthew's Gospel as a key occurrence during Herod's reign in Judea. Following the birth of Jesus, a party of Magi from the east visited Herod, seeking information about the newborn King of the Jews, whose star they had seen. As the King of the Jews, Herod was concerned about a potential danger to his power. In response, Herod summoned the chief priests and scribes and inquired about the birthplace of the Anointed One, or Messiah. They referred to Micah 5 verse 2, which identified Bethlehem as the promised place. The Magi were then sent to Bethlehem by Herod, who instructed them to find the child and report back to him so that he may apparently adore the newborn king. However, the Magi were cautioned in a dream not to tell Herod about Jesus' whereabouts. Concurrently, Jesus' earthly father, Joseph, experienced a dream warning of Herod's malevolent desire to harm Jesus. As a result of these warnings, Joseph and his family fled to Egypt, avoiding Herod's lethal order. They stayed in Egypt till Herod died. When Joseph learned of Herod's death, he moved his family to Nazareth in Galilee to avoid the tyranny of Herod's son Archelaus. This biblical tale emphasizes the terrible circumstances surrounding Jesus' early life under Herod's turbulent rule. So, when Herod's life ended in Jericho due to a terrible and debilitating sickness, the reason of which is unknown, Josephus reports Herod's distress about the apparent lack of grieving at his impending death. Herod issued a proclamation summoning a large gathering of notable men to Jericho to assure a great exhibition of grief. Surprisingly, he directed that they be executed at the time of his death in order to ensure the grieving spectacle he intended. However, Herod's brother-in-law Alexas and his sister Salome elected not to carry out Herod's final instruction. This episode emphasizes the complicated and dramatic circumstances surrounding the death of one of history's most powerful but divisive characters. I appreciate your viewing.